Hi, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so it is Halloween and I am setting a tablescape. I'm kind of doing it in two parts. I'm gonna do some of it so it can be used for Thanksgiving, and then I'm gonna be using some Halloween elements for a dinner party that I have coming up. I wanna use a structure that I'm gonna build to go over the table that I have been dying to use. So I will show you what all that means. So let's get going. For my Halloween table this year, I wanted to mix different colors like corals and lavenders. I wanted to get away from just the traditional orange and black. I want to use black, but I want to incorporate it with more lavender colors and just sort of different variations of orange. I love how they did this centerpiece in the middle. So I had an idea of doing something in the center and building a scene around it. Love this kind of corally pink with the black. It's just a little different. And I love the lavender, and I love those trees in the middle. I wanted that height. And I love how they're doing this centerpiece right here. And it has a lot of height. So I was wanting to do some kind of structure above my table, something like this. And you can just see how the lavender is working with that deeper purple. And I love the eucalyptus, love the coral. I love all the colors here. So I just wanted something a little bit different. And I also wanted to work with the candelabra that I thrifted this summer. Really loving these corals and purples together. To get the dramatic height, I wanted to use the same table structure that I used for my daughter's birthday. It worked perfectly. It clamped onto the table, and I was able to hang the disco balls and all that garland for her ABBA-themed birthday party. But I used this structure right here, and it worked so well, and it was so easy to put together. I will link to it from Amazon where I got it. But I quickly found out that the clamp is very small and it does not work on all tables. It's something that I should have checked. I think it's whatever the depth of it is, it's not going to work on my table. So you can see when I pulled it over here that it doesn't even work on the edges where it tapers down and is a little smaller. Definitely doesn't work in the middle. I thought I would have a little bit, I didn't check it. So that's the problem. So what I did was I quickly went back on Amazon and did a search, and I found one that was a little bit bigger. Not enough to make a difference, but here I'll show you that it's just slightly bigger. And I knew it wasn't going to fit in the center, but I was getting kind of desperate. And I thought, well, let me just go ahead and get it. I'll use it somewhere else. But it would fit on the tapered edges, and I thought maybe I could just sort of do some kind of structure that went from one tapered corner to the crisscross other corner, but it wasn't the desired look, and it wasn't what I was really going for. So I started to look for freestanding table structures, and these are really meant for to stay on the floor, where you can do a balloon structure, maybe like a photo opportunity. It can go really high, or you can adjust it and put it on your table. This is not the one I used, but even the link that I did find, it was no longer available. But you can get something similar at Tablecloth Factory. They have a lot of options if you run into the same trouble I did. So once it arrived, I got busy building it. And I have to say the bases were really easy to put together. I was kind of nervous I didn't film that part because I was like, oh, I just want to make sure it would work. But they did come together very easily. I was concerned about them sitting on a dining table because, like I said, they really are made to go on the ground, and you build sort of like a photo opportunity or a huge balloon arc or something like that. But I was kind of determined to make this work. So I just had this box of stuff and these bases, but they seemed fairly sturdy, and it was coming together pretty easily. The instructions were not that great, big surprise, but that's okay. I was gonna figure it out. So my main concern was making sure it fit from one end of the table to the other. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get the length, but it's just like anything, like I said, from IKEA or any of these things that you build, you just kind of figure it out. They're all kind of the same. The holes match up, and so that's what I was doing here. And they actually are pretty solid pieces. I was kind of impressed that this seems a little bit more solid than a lot of things that I've gotten. So you just kind of find how the holes are going to work together. You line them up, and it was working pretty easily. I'm just gonna kind of flip up here. Sorry about my hands, but I want to show you how the top part fits. And you just get these little L brackets, and I think you can put them in depending upon the height that you're going, and it worked. So I was able to get that together. So I was pretty excited that I got that far. and I just kind of mirrored it on the other side, and now I want to see if I could get the length across or if I was going to have to, pull it in a little bit. So that's what I'm doing next, is just making sure I can just push it as far to the edge of the table as possible and then get the length across. And lo and behold, I was able to do it. I love this structure. They actually had a smaller piece so that I could fit it just perfectly in there. So I was really happy because this was a lot of work getting here. I was so determined to do this. But anyways, it looked great. And so I'm still worried about the plates, but I think I'm going to be able to work it now that I have pushed them as far as I can to the edge. So it's, like I said, it's a lot sturdier than I thought it would be, and so I was happy about that. They provide, all the screws and those kind of twisty things, and you can just put it in, and it's really easy to put together, and it is very sturdy. Okay, so the structure is built. I have all the screws in, and I'm just kind of like bringing everything I have, and I just want to show you that it's really solid. Once you put the screws in, I feel very confident that I can start layering things on top of there, and I am not going to worry. So I got everything that I have sort of collected over the summer or whatever I just kind of had left over. So I think I got those off of Amazon. The eucalyptus I got somewhere, and a lot of it's thrifted. So I'm just seeing what I have before I, hit the stores or try to add on. I love those brambles. I got those at Trader Joe's, and I used them for spring, but I thought they'd be perfect for Halloween, so I kind of hung on to them. And these are just little sprigs and florals that I have thrifted over the years, just kept in a box. I want to see if I can use them this year since I want to work with that black and lavender. So I have everything out, and I'm just sort of planning what I want to do up above. I don't really have a direction just yet, just an idea. So I started just building it up there to see how it works, and it kind of was spinning on me, no big surprise there. So I needed to secure it with some wire and sort of build a more secure base. And so that's what I'm just kind of doing there. And I just kind of throwing it up there, seeing what's going to work, and if I need to hit the store. And here's what it looks like. And I do need to hit the stores because it is looking a little thin, and I just didn't know how long I was going to be able to get that structure. I just didn't know enough. So I need to go back to the stores, and now that Halloween is so close, I'm sure everything's going to be 50% off, I hope. And it was. I was able to pick up some of the colors that I really wanted and just sort of regroup, bring it home. And even though everything's not going to match because I'm getting it at different times, it doesn't matter. I think it's going to look really good. So I'm just layering everything up there, and I feel like we got it. I feel like it looks really plush and lush, and it's a really good base to build things on. And so I took all the other sort of florals that I bought and all those beautiful purples. I couldn't really find a lot of lavender, but I found this beautiful coral color. And I was also this kind of orange that's very interesting. It's not really a Halloween orange. I think it's a mix between an orange and a coral. So I thought that was really beautiful. And of course I'm going to incorporate these brambles. So I was just sort of planning out how I wanted to do the rest of it. I wanted to work those brambles up along the edge like I did here, and I think they look so cool within that little purple just hanging out, but I love those brambles just poking out. I thought they were perfect for Halloween. I think they look really fun, and it just kind of gives it another element other than just the garlands. So excuse my big thumb there. I don't know what's going on there, but I wanted to figure out how I was going to incorporate all of this. And I didn't think I wanted to add it into the overhead structure. So I wanted to work with the lavender, and I had so much trouble finding the right color runner or even napkins that I could just sort of unfold and work as a runner. So I ordered some things from, Amazon, and I like this right here, and boy, I thought that was a big runner, but I needed two or three of them, but I only had one. I didn't have time to wait for anything else. So I'm just going to try to figure out how to work with it. And I ended up also going to World Market to see if they had anything. And they had, this was the closest I could get, but that just blends in right to the table. So that's not going to work, but I think I can use those for Thanksgiving because I do like the color. So I ended up getting this kind of mesh stuff, which I don't love because I wanted to do something a little bit more elevated, but the color was right. And I thought if I kind of mixed it and layered on top of it, it wasn't gonna bother me so much. So my idea was to just get it on the table, put it under those stands, and see if I could like work something out. And here I am just going to try to layer it, and I know it's really wrinkled, but I'm going to be putting things on top of it, or eventually I was going to steam that out. But right now it looks okay, and I just wanted to see if we could get this working. So I laid it there. This summer I thrifted this really cool spook house, and this is what gave me this idea for my Halloween party. I thought it was so cool. I wanted to use it as a centerpiece. So here's what I'm going to do. I put this, I think it looks so beautiful on top of that lavender, and I feel like those black, foliage and sprigs and branches look so cool. I think it builds a really fun scene right there, and it's gonna, and also I can put lights inside of that, so I feel like it's gonna just light the table and also just be a really interesting, fun centerpiece. So that's how it looks, and I love how it looks against the lavender. I thrifted those candelabras this summer, and I thought, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put that on my table for Halloween. So I think it's all coming together so beautifully in those. I was just trying to figure out, if I could wrap those around the candles or the candelabra. I'm just going to have to figure it out. These are some my candlesticks ideas. I wanted to go with the light purple, and I also wanted to add the coral. So I think I'm going to kind of mix them in there and see how that works. So I love the colors. I love how they work together. I just think it's so fun. So I was really excited about that. So I really wanted to use this spook house. So I'm glad that it's actually working, and it's not too tall. You can actually see over it. So here is how it looks, and I think it looks so pretty. And you can see I put some pumpkins down on those stands to kind of hide it. And that's how it's going to look. I just kind of threw some in there to see how it was going to illuminate. And isn't it cute? So, when the lights are a little lower, that's going to be such a fun, warm centerpiece. And I love how the candles are working. I love how the pumpkins are working. The color theme is all working for me, and I think it's looking really cute. So I'm going to use some placemats, also some black round placemats. I got those off of Amazon, and I think they look cute. I need to weight them down. They're a little waffly right now, but it's looking really cute. I'm seeing my vision is coming together. One thing that I felt was missing, though, was I really love things dangling down from these structures. I think that's what makes it so fun. You can put lights or disco balls or whatever. So I hit my attic to see if I could find something, because I was really short on time. I didn't really have time to go out and buy things or create something. So I found this garland of ghosts, but I don't love them. I love that they're ghosts because I think it picks up the white pumpkins. But right now they just look sort of like comical sperm. They look cartoonish, and I don't love them. I don't think they work with the theme. So I had this idea to maybe go get some cheesecloth and maybe make them feel more vintagey, or at least more ghost-like, less sperm-like, more like a ghost. So I decided to go in that direction. So let's meet over here at my workstation, and I'll show you what I did. So like I said, I went and got some cheesecloth. And as luck would have it, they can kind of just pop off and on of that light structure. So it's been years since I've done this. So I've got some Mod Podge, I added some water, and I really wasn't sure about the consistency or how much I should, what the formula was. So I was just kind of gunning it and just, dousing the cheesecloth in there and just wrapping it around those little, ghost sperm and trying to make them look a little bit more like actual ghost. And anyway, it just kind of get rid of their like faces. I thought they just looked too cartoonish. It just didn't work for me. So anyways, I was squeezing it out and doing, trying to follow I just kind of quickly looked up how to do all this, and I feel like it looks a lot better. They look fuller, and I think it's looking better. At least they look like ghosts. So, and then I was just gonna like lay it down and let it dry. And even though you can still see their face, it doesn't bother me because it's veiled. I think it looks better than that. you can't really see it as much. So I was just gonna try it out. I don't know how it's gonna work, so I'm just gonna let it dry, and if that works, I was gonna keep going. So I did see that it was kind of working, and I remembered that I should probably hang it so it's gonna create that more of a structure. So I put some water bottles on them. The faces don't bother me veiled. I think they actually look really cute. And then I can just kind of poke a hole in the center and run the lights through it again. But still wasn't sure, but when they dried, they actually came out looking really, really cute. So I was kind of excited about this, that it actually worked and that I could dangle something down, and I'm just going to reattach them to the light and, work it through the center hole there. And I was really excited this was going to. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how to make this black napkin. We're going to turn it into a witch's hat to go with our Halloween theme. So you're going to need a napkin, whatever color you want to do your witch's hat, and some ribbon. I chose this lavender velvet ribbon. I love this ribbon. I've worked with it in a couple of different projects, and you want to cut off the tag so it doesn't, interrupt your design here. So you're going to fold your napkin in half and just kind of crease it. And then you're going to take your finger and put it right in the middle, and you're going to create a triangle shape. And then you're just going to keep moving that triangle shape around so it forms that pointy, top of the witch's hat. So you're going to have something like this. So then what you do is you're going to flip up the edges, the ends like this. So there's that little white tag, but I can clip it some more. And you want to secure, I'm going to flip it over. Secure the, this part right here is from flapping open. So hopefully when you flip the ends up like that, it creates it prevents it from unraveling. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay, because you're going to take your ribbon like this, and I'm going to tie it away from you because I can't, the bow, because I'm not that good. So you just, you kind of just gently wrap it around your witch's hat, and you make your bow. Hang on one second, I want to make sure the velvet side comes out. So, and then you just do it like that, and then I'll trim this later, but then you have a cute little witch's hat. And these are going to go on white plates, and I'll show you how all that looks in a little bit. So look how cute those hats look on the white plates. I think that looks so adorable. So here it is finished. It all came together. I think the hats are adorable. I love that lavender, and even that mesh doesn't bother me. It just picks it right up. And I tried to choose wine glasses that have Halloween colors. Like, I was thinking of like potions. So these glasses I thrifted, they come in like green and orange and like light purple, and then the champagne flutes behind it are so fun. They have all these different colors. So I just brought out all the Halloween colors that we were using, orange and purple. I like to make the little pumpkins I used as name plates, I should say. And I went and picked up, got some more flowers to pull the coral and the lavender out. But I think it is looking so cute, and the spook house in the center is looking amazing. So I'm just loving all the way that the colors look together, and I just think they are adorable. I love working, doing napkin design, and I got these gold chargers off of Amazon as well. I'm just showing you the nameplate for my other friend that's coming. I love the pumpkins at the end. You can see that I put I can see my battery there, but I put some battery operated lights in the garland above, and it looks so pretty. I'll show you how that looks all lit up. The candles look great. I think the color is all working, and my little ghost looks so cute. I'm so proud of them. I think they look really fun and more vintagey and ghost-like, and I love the way they look. I just wanted them to have a little bit more of an impact, and I love the way it leads the white plates around, the white pumpkins. So I think this is all working and looking beautiful, and I love the lavender. I just love the lavender and the black working together. So I feel like it's coming together. I could not be happier that the overhead structure, and here's how it's going to look at night. It's obviously day outside, but it's going to kind of look like this. And I think that looks so pretty. I am absolutely in love with it. It's just looked so cute. And it's just got that warm kind of fun vibe. It just feels like a fun, cozy place to be. And I don't know, there's something about those structures overhead with the lights hanging down. It just makes it feel just so much more festive and like I said, cozy. So I am so thrilled with the way it looks. So let's just take one more, cruise around the table and look at everything. And I love that the colors are not just traditional black and orange. I really was challenging myself to work with corals, even though I have those orange pumpkins on there. I really wanted to bring, softer, I don't know, colors in that are just not, I didn't want it to look super traditional. I wanted it to look a little elevated, but still fun. And I think I got there, and I think it looks really, really fun. And I love that spook house that I found. I'm going to use it a ton. And I had a lot of fun doing those ghosts. So I hope you enjoy it, because I think it looks great. I can't wait to have my friends over and show it off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my Halloween tablescape. I am so glad I finally found like an overhead structure that would work with my dining table, because it is something I really have been wanting to do in there for a while. So I was a little bit bummed out when I found out those clamps couldn't work, but we figured it out, and I think it looked so cute, and it came together really, really nicely towards the end. So I hope you guys have a great Halloween, and I will see you the next time.